What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be telling you guys how I got rid of Isaac's eczema naturally, like all natural, no medicine or anything. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. So around this time last year, Isaac developed, and it looked like a rash on the back of his neck, and it was just little. It was like this big, and it was circular, and it just seemed like dry, like a dry patch kind of, and it would get inflamed from time to time and turn red, but most of the time it was just like a dry patch on the back of his neck. And we didn't think too much of it. We just thought that it was a little rash that he probably got. But as a few, I want to say maybe like a week or two went by, and his eyes started to kind of, I don't remember, I think it was from the inner corners. It started to get dry as well. Slowly just started to notice that it was a little dry on both eyes, and it started to kind of look like the patch that he had on the back of his neck. And we thought that maybe he scratched his neck and then he scratched his eye, and that he just basically transferred the rash from his neck to his eye. But it kind of started to slowly get a little worse and a little worse. Around the same time, Zaya also got a rash around his lips. His was only for like 2 days, but the first day that I noticed it, I decided to call their pediatrician and make an appointment for them so that they can get checked at and maybe set up an appointment with a specialist so that they can see if maybe they're allergic to anything that they were eating. My eyes itchy. Which is what possibly caused the rashes. So I started to watch what they were eating, and I wasn't introducing anything new to them, just to see if I could pinpoint if it was something that they were eating that was causing the rash. Like I said, Zaya's only lasted for 2 days, so that by the time that they had their appointment with their pediatrician, his had gone away, but Isaac's was still there, still on his neck and still in his eyes. He wouldn't complain about any pain or anything. He would itch them from time to time, but it wasn't like if it was like itchy, like super itchy. I would ask him if it would hurt, and he would say no, he was fine. So we went to his pediatrician's appointment, and I kind of let her know, the gist of what was going on, and that I just noticed, that basically appeared, starting with the neck and then to his eyes. And she kind of took a look at it, and then she was like, yeah, well, I don't know. And I was like, okay. And that was pretty much the answer that I got from her, which was pretty frustrating, because it's like, okay, you're the specialist, you're the professional, like, I'm bringing him to you, can you like at least try and help me out? So my mom had told me before I went to the appointment to ask her, if she could refer them to a specialist so that they can get tested to see if they're allergic to any foods, and that way we can pinpoint if that's what's causing the rash. So she's like, yeah, I mentioned that to the pediatrician before the appointment was over, because she was kind of just going to leave it at that, I don't know, we'll just keep an eye on it, that's it. She's like, so I mentioned to her if she can refer them, and she said yeah. She got them a referral, and the referral was a few weeks out. So she got them the referral, and I kind of went about my day. And as the days went by, like I said, the referral was a few weeks out. So as the days went by after the appointment with the pediatrician, Isaac's eyes started to get worse. It started to spread more, and it was more just like on his eyelids at first and the inner corners, and it started to spread more across his eyelid, and it started to come down, kind of like down to here. And one day it got really, really bad. They were like, his eyes were flared, they were red, they looked super dry. So that day I decided to take him to the children's hospital. Baby, the señora's gonna give you a shot?
Yeah.
You need a shot?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll tell her to give you a shot?
Yeah.
Okay, baby. We'll tell her, okay?
Yeah.
To kind of have them take a look at it and see what's going on, you know, why they were so inflared, and see if they can kind of, I don't know, give me some answers. So I took him into the children's hospital. They looked at his eyes, and they said that they thought it was either eczema or psoriasis. So they took some swabs of his neck and his eyes, and they sent them in to get tested to see if it was psoriasis. I believe it was psoriasis that they said. But because of how it was shaped, they just weren't exactly sure. They couldn't say 100% right then and there if it was eczema, if it was the psoriasis. But then we got the test back, and they said that it wasn't psoriasis, that it could be eczema. So they prescribed him hydrocortisone, and they said, you know, to apply it on his eyes before he went to bed every night, just a little bit, and to kind of just be careful with it, because it was steroids. So if he got too much of it, it could worsen his eyes, and it could be really bad for him, basically. So I did apply it to try and help out his eyes, and it did start to help, but it kept coming back. And I didn't want to keep applying it because it was steroids, and then also because it could be potentially bad for him. It's strong medicine, especially for him being so young. So I kind of started to do some research, and I came across a documentary on Netflix. I forgot what it's called, but they were talking about, it was basically like, this day I was at work, and I just was trying to listen to something while I was working. So I put on this documentary, and it was like about foods and about what's in our meats and just a whole bunch of stuff. Like I said, I forgot what the documentary is called, but I was listening to it, and they were talking about how, you know, like the breast cancer awareness, like the people that run that organization, they fund companies that sell products that cause breast cancer, and they were just like going into a whole bunch of basically like theories of such sort, and also how, you know, when you have diabetes, the dietary plan that you get given has a lot of stuff that actually has been proven to cause diabetes, and a whole bunch of stuff like that. So it was, like I said, it was more theories than anything. But one thing that did catch my ears, I was listening.
So put that one.
That one's over?
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing that did catch my ear was that they had done tests, and kind of done like surveys, I want to say. And they came to the conclusion that almond milk helped cure eczema and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I was like, And I started thinking, because like I said, when they started getting the rash, and when I started with Isaac's eyes, I was like really looking at what they were eating and trying to pinpoint maybe if it was something that he ate, to kind of like eliminate it, nip it in the butt. And then I started to think, when I heard that about the almond milk, I started to think that it could be the regular cow milk that they were drinking that was causing this for his eyes. Because this was, like I said, this was last year, so he was still drinking his bottle. He was, they were drinking a lot of milk throughout the day. They were drinking it to take naps. They were drinking it to go to sleep. They were drinking it when they were waking up. They were drinking it throughout the day. They were having a good 3 to 4 bottles a day of milk. So I went out, I bought him some almond milk. I treated his eyes with the hydrocortisone, and as it went away with the hydrocortisone, I started him on the almond milk so that I didn't have to give him the hydrocortisone anymore, because as soon as I would stop the hydrocortisone, it would come back. So I started giving him the almond milk, and it was like magic. The almond milk helped his eczema on his eyes, and every time that he starts drinking a little more of regular milk, his eyes kind of start wanting to come back. So I definitely don't let him, I'll let him have like a sip, because sometimes he'll want chocolate milk and there won't be almond chocolate milk around, so he'll have the regular Dairy Gold chocolate milk. But if he has too much of it, his eczema on his eyes starts coming back. So but it's something with the milk, because it's not like dairy, because they love cheese and they have cheese and they have sour cream. Anything else with dairy they have. It's just the milk itself that causes his eyes to get inflamed like that. So yeah, that's pretty much how I cured his eczema naturally, so that I don't have to give him the steroids anymore, the hydrocortisone. And all he does is drink his almond milk, and they make chocolate almond milk and they love it. So yeah, I was gonna say something else but I forgot. But yeah, that's pretty much how I cured Isaac's eczema. I just gave him his almond milk, and it has worked wonders for him. And once I switched Isaac over, I also switched Zaya over. It's just easier on their stomachs. And they like it. I mean, it is pricier sometimes, but sometimes you can get pretty good deals, like at Sprouts. Well, you kind of have to just look around, because at first at Sprouts it was cheaper than Walmart, but now Walmart has it cheaper than Sprouts, because Sprouts be selling it for like $5 when I can get it at Walmart for like $2.50. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's gonna be pictures within the video of when his eyes got really bad, when I had to take him into the children's hospital. And yeah, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye!